I'm Lauren Rich, helping you get unfucked. So a brief discussion about the Afghanistan exit, just for that crew that actually deployed for the exiting process. Many of you have combat tours under your belt. Many of you have combat tours and humanitarian aid, or we look at those very brief stints that you were in country, if you're a LAR person, or if you're a fast Marine, those types of things. Even, Ranger battalions, of course, are going to fall in this. But when we ultimately think about and look at how those tours or those TDYs are a little bit different than lengthy deployments, this is the guy I think of. So I absolutely love this guy. I think he is a wonderful person. And mostly I think he's a wonderful person, A, because he's on my team. And number two is that he is doing his job. And there's no telling what this jackass in purple said or did to him to get that gun pointed at him. But this guy is absolutely doing what we have asked him to do. The problem is that many times in the very brief TDYs or humanitarian aid missions that we may have, or with the fast teams, there can be a lot of trauma in a very short amount of time. And many times this is not even combat, quote unquote. This is just dealing with people and the civilian Afghan population in general. When we look at our counterparts who are obviously taken too early and die in service to our country in even those very brief TDYs, we're looking at folks who are trying to help women and children. We're looking at people who are trying to provide medical care, i.e. your corpsmen, and they ultimately perished because we had a poor exit. But when we look at guys like this guy who has done his job and hopefully comes back alive with all limbs attached, we have to really think about what are we living with. And many times the interactions that we have in those very brief TDYs are worse than the interactions that we have in combat, partially because of the politics, partially because of the high intensity emotions that are involved. Combat is really cut and dry. You live or I live and somebody gets to go home at the end of the day. But when we're sent to foreign violent lands and we're not supposed to kill anybody, but we're supposed to hold our ground and there's nothing but a retaining wall, that doesn't do a whole lot for us or our mentality. We're exposed all of the time. So just a few things to think about in the process of exiting Afghanistan. So the point of this discussion or this video is for me to simply ask you, of all of the TDYs or all the short brief deployments that you had in your career, which ones do you remember having the worst or even the best interactions with civilians? And how did those worst interactions with civilians differ from those where you actually had engagement with the enemy? What do they look like in interaction style? Are the interactions more stressful or less stressful than actually engaging with the enemy? Let me know what you think in the comments below. So part of my job is to help you all get unfucked, but if you're curious about how fucked you actually are, you can go online and take the FUBAR assessment at laurenrich.net.